Welcome to the In My Opinion show with Ronald, Barrington, Robinson, and friends. Seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. To view our shows, please go to RBR, IMO, and then to videos, or go to, you can see us on Facebook, and you can see us on YouTube. I want to introduce my very talented co-host, Mrs. Jackie Williams.
Hello, everyone.
And Mr. Henry Hatter.
Thank you, Ron. Good afternoon.
Let's talk about Michael Cohen, that was the bulldog for President Trump. Now he's spilling the beans on the President of the United States. And I'm glad that somebody's spilling the beans, all right? Hopefully, okay, yeah, he was convicted of lying to Congress, and he's going to be doing 3 years in prison, but probably for what the things that he's done for the President of the United States, that's just that's just a pat on the hand, okay? And he's doing testimonies now behind closed doors. A few days ago, it was public, but it's going to be interesting because I'm sure there's a lot of things that he knows that he's going to say, okay? In my opinion. I hope that that both sides of the aisle pays attention to this man, because he knows where the bodies are buried. This man knows where the bodies are buried, and that for 2 years the Republicans didn't want to say nothing about it, but now the other side of the aisle, okay, is wide open, and I hope Mr. Cummings, okay, will get to the bottom and help to get to the bottom of all of this stuff. America needs the truth. We are it appears in many, sometimes we're going to the abyss, and that's not America, all right? We are losing friends from other countries. The president doesn't believe in his intelligence agencies, which is ridiculous. We've got to. He has no experience in foreign or domestic issues. Okay, and he's believing what this North Korean is saying. He's believing what the person in the country that's been our arch enemies for years, Russia. He's believing Saudi Arabia, okay, and the killing of journalist Khashoggi. I think that's I think that's how you pronounce his name. Now we've got to get a handle on this, people. Okay, Henry, what's your thoughts?
Well, the President of the United States, like everybody else, has, and I've said this before, character flaws. And I'm not going to say that he's a great God or that he's perfect, nor will I say anybody else is perfect. And I don't think the Republicans knew all that you say they knew. And they had to be cautious because they represent millions of people, not only in this country, but worldwide. And Republicans want to have the facts before they do anything. I will support this president until he is declared guilty. I want to see the evidence, and he has done no wrong to me, and I don't have any evidence that he's colluded with Russia. I don't have any evidence that, except some of his dealing with bedroom issues, that's still problematic for me. I don't know what happened, but I do know that that's an issue. And I believe that with respect to North Korea, I was surprised by Kim Jong-un, the reasons for which he is not denuclearizing. He said that Americans must first lift all of the sanctions.
Mm-hmm.
All sanctions. We can't possibly do that.
Right.
That gives them a free ride.
Mm-hmm.
No, we can't do that. And the president is right to stand up to him. But the president also needs to listen to his cabinet members. He needs to listen to Republicans there in the Republican National Committee. He needs to listen to what Democrats are saying to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. And he's making the world a lot different than it would otherwise have been. And he's right that we have given and allowed under other presidents for businesses to move away from our shores. It was ours to give away, not other people to take. And his issue that he would like to see those conditions come back to the United States so that we can provide jobs and security for all Americans so they can make a living and so they can stabilize the communities that they live in. Mm-hmm. Right now we are so lacking in jobs and so lacking in resources that we can't possibly do that. Now, all of the other things that the president does, I can't say that I understand all of them because I'm not there. I don't sit down among his table and share the strategy. And I know that he has a strategy of some kind, but I don't know I don't understand all of it. But I support him, and I would say there are two things he's dealing with. One is the domestic issues, and the other is foreign policy. And I support him in the foreign policy completely. And until something else tells me that we're moving in the wrong direction. I think that we need to protect the country. Country's foremost. We have no other place to go. And we do need to make sure that all Americans have jobs and secure, and like we were when we made lots of money in this country, and when we produced 75% of the world's consumer goods and services. We're not there anymore. We produce less than, I believe it was 40% or 30%. We're going downhill, guys. And we're spending a lot of money out of our treasury right now to support other things that really shouldn't matter strongly to Americans. While we have the wall, and that's going to be an issue, the president, that's part of our foreign policy. But while it may not be as critical as the president sees it right now, it is an issue. And we have sovereignty. And the most disrupting thing about allowing things to go as it has gone for the last 10 years is that we don't recognize the sovereignty of our nation. There's a wall around us, an invisible wall. And when people invade those invisible walls, it's a slap in the face to Americans, and it threatens us all. I know there are a lot of people who believe that we ought to try to save everybody in the world and then diminish our ability to survive. And we can't do that. Somewhere we have to stop. And I think that this is the largest single issue that the president is trying to drive to Americans. We must secure ourselves first. That's why he says, make America great again. Some people say it's never been great. That's a relative statement. We have all benefited from the great industries that we've had and the great safety that we've secured through our military and so on and so forth. And some of it was probably problematic to many of us who believe that we ought to be a gentler nation, as was spoke by Ronald Reagan.
You know, my opinion is this, okay? I agree with you, Henry, in some of the things you say, okay? But in my opinion, Trump's strategy is self-serving. It's not for America, okay? And he's not protecting America with the dumb stuff that he's doing, okay? We need our coalition partners, all right, to work with us like they've been working with us for years, all right, for years, okay? And he's dividing these people. What do you think? I'd like to be a fly on a wall in Canada or Mexico or Germany or England, okay? and hear what they're saying, okay, about Trump. Not so much America, but Trump. Period. Okay. If he doesn't have the respect, if the president of the United States doesn't have the respect of other countries and their leaders, then that's not leadership. Okay. That's not leadership, in my opinion, whatsoever. It's a miscarriage of everything that America has fought for, and he's dividing us.
But Ron, isn't it true that other countries have taken advantage of our gifts and donations of funds and responses to obligations that they should have themselves? For example, NATO. Who took care of most of NATO? The United States paid all of their allies. They kept their allies afloat while they paid nothing. And this is Germany, England, all of those. The president says, well, we want you to carry part of your obligation to that. And I think he was right.
Me too. I have no problems with that.
Well, then we should say that.
I mean, I think a lot of things have been said, and I guess we can go from A to Z for him. And for me, I try to give him a chance. And when you hold the office of the presidency, it's the highest office to hold. It's the most powerful position in the United States. And it comes along with a lot of responsibilities. And when you are running for office, there's a division. You have Republicans versus the Democrats. But when you become the president of the United States, you're the president for everybody. You don't get to pick and choose your supporters. You are the president for everyone. So this is where we're missing some links. He's not the president for everyone. He speaks directly to his base. And of his character, I'm not really worried about the character, but he has a mean heart. So people are watching. It's not like it used to be where you watch the news and it's just in the United States. All the other countries are watching how our president dialogues with our journalists and how he dialogues with people in professions and how he downrates our own staffs of the government and how he talks about the FBI and how he gives private information. So it proves to me that when he was running, he used to say it just takes a businessman to, well, now we know it's more than just a businessman. You have to know and you have to be willing to learn, because when he's being briefed, they said they can't brief him longer than 15 minutes because he has a short attention span. So we're doing some stuff that now is dangerous. You know, you go over to and you have the summit with Putin and you say in front of all the reporters that you believe that Putin was telling the truth and that we had no idea. Well, we have the best FBI agency across the world. And we used to have our ears to the ground more so because we had people, ambassadors in different countries where we have not filled those positions. It's so many things that we're lacking and we don't see it because, like you said earlier, he has advisors, but what's the point of having an advisor? You're not going to listen to him. The advisors told him not to go to North Korea and meet with him because they weren't going to make any moves, but you don't listen to the experts because you feel like you know everything. You know, it's a sad scenario when it says that you think you know everything because you can't possibly know everything. A wise person listened to counsel.
Mm-hmm.
But some of those early people in his cabinets were cronies.
And they're all just about in prison.
They were convicted criminals. And some of them.
And if they weren't, they are now.
And Christie tried to tell him. He said, boss, watch who you're putting in your cabinet. This is Chris Christie. And eventually, Chris Christie lost his position for several kind of things that he had been promised when he decided to go with the president. He was the first one to endorse him. And those people proved out to be liars. Just like, what was the general name?
The president?
The general.
The
what was his name? No, the general.
Which ones?
Which one?
one that
he
he was-
had so many.
No, just
Oh, the last one,
Yeah.
Mattis.
Kelly.
no, not
No,
Mattis. No,
Kelly.
Mattis.
It's Kelly.
Mattis,
no,
Kelly.
no, not that one. Fry or something like that. I guess. But those people they lied to Congress. They lied through their teeth, with everybody watching, and so he had to get rid of them. They became baggage.
But did he get rid of them, or did they leave on their
No,
own?
he got rid of them.
Because Kelly left on his own,
Yeah.
and now we're finding out why Kelly left.
He's getting
because
ready to testify too.
because they
about-
said people won't. He won't listen. So what's the point of being
Kelly
in
may
there?
be one of the cleaner ones, but there's others. And Jarrett was horrible for the president.
He's still there.
Yeah.
You talking about
That's his
Kushner?
son-in-law.
Yes.
Which we just found out that he said that he didn't do it.
Yeah.
But he cleared. They told him that he was problematic of being cleared. And he gave them, he told them to override it and give him a clearance. This is when they're talking about how we're in danger, because they were saying that they didn't trust his relationships with foreign allies.
Yeah. it was
And you
Jarrett.
still overrode him for 2. It was 2 that he overrode.
But he kept he kept the cabinet in stir because he thought he was running it for the president.
Well, he still thinks he's doing that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's creating the kind of fluctuations that you see now in government at that level.
You know,
Here it is.
and then back to Michael Cohen, okay, versus President Trump. All right, it's going to be very interesting. He's already said a lot of interesting things, okay, about his 10 years with Trump. All right, and more or less, he's the man that knows. I believe what he's saying.
Why
all
would you
right?
want to believe what he's
Because
saying, Ron?
because okay, he's a liar.
Yeah, but
and so is President. So is Trump.
okay, he's a convicted
That's
felon.
true.
Got
So
Congress
will Trump
called
will
back.
be
Now
soon.
listen at the issue here that stands. He was a convicted felon, and Congress brought him before him to testify.
Mm-hmm.
Convicted, a liar.
Well, what was he convicted for? He was convicted. You think he
The very
profited
fact-
out of giving Stormy Daniels money? What was his profit out of that?
Well,
No.
all of
Let's-
those things are problematic.
No.
So he gave a couple
but
hookers
this is
some money.
why
Yeah.
He was. This is one of the charges
helped.
that he have. He
Yeah.
have campaign violation. So we have a tape of Trump telling him. So I'm going to create this company. He was like, yes. So it's all. So if he was convicted as a felon for campaign violation,
Yeah.
so should Trump, because he was right there on the tape with him. So
That's
the
what he
difference
says.
between
But Trump hasn't spoken yet. You gotta leave
No,
that
he
out
was on the
until,
tape.
or he
Yes,
has
Trump.
to
He's on the tape.
admit
Acknowledging.
responsibility for that.
He has.
well, the reason
Has Trump
why.
admitted
Yes.
responsibility?
Yes.
Then we don't have a problem.
Because first he said he didn't do it, and then he
Yeah.
remembered, and then at
Well-
the
well,
last
that's
hearing,
settled, guys.
yeah,
That's settled.
Cohen brought, he brought checks to show that he was still getting checks while he was in the
Yeah,
White
but
House.
Cohen was obligated to tell the truth because he had sworn in as a member of a public policy board or committee or position.
Okay,
And when you take those positions,
Right.
you swear on the Constitution and the Bible that you will
Tell the
the
truth.
truth.
but it's relational.
But he lied.
No, it's relational. Let me tell you
now,
why.
hang on. You said, but he lied.
Right.
Okay, once we admit that, then we can move on to the next step.
And didn't Trump lie
You
when
can't move on when
he
he's
put
a
his hand
liar.
on that Bible and swore to
But
uphold?
we haven't reached Trump yet.
Oh yes, we have.
No, we
All right,
haven't.
because he's all part
all
of
of
this.
his buddies, all of his cronies, as you would call it, all of his cronies have been coming in, and the reason why they haven't been charged or brought to the Congress, because the Congress prior to the Democrats taking over the House would not bring them there and hold them accountable. That's why America flipped the houses, because they said, we want accountability in that White House. We want him to be accountable for the things that he does, and he hasn't been. So we go back, and you say you're an employer. I mean, you are over the school board. If we have an employee that's not doing the job, why would you keep them for 10 years? He was the lawyer from 2006 to 2018. Why would you keep him? You wouldn't keep him. And you talk, and what did he say when he was getting on the plane? Ask Cohen. Didn't he say it? So if he didn't rely on him, he would have never called him out. So Trump has a habit of doing a 360. And what he'll do is, as long as you're on his team and doing what he wants you to do, you know, you're the best thing since gravy. But when you don't agree with him, then you become sour milk and he kicks you out at the next guy. And so this is all he's doing, because everybody that he's kicked out of the White House have wrote a book about how horrible it is in the White House.
And they were horrible themselves.
Were
You have
they?
to look at the other side. There are
Were
two
they?
sides. Yes.
Well, you know what? I kind of agree with you, because they were saying they had a hard time filling positions because nobody wanted to work there because they had heard about how bad it was, and everybody that talked to him.
No, Trump was an authoritarian, and some people can't work for all authoritarians.
No, I got another word for it. He wants to be a dictator.
Well,
he wants to be a
exactly.
dictator like his favorite friends in Russia and Saudi and
we have a constitution, so that's
well, it doesn't matter, because we also supposed to.
you can't be a dictator in this country.
Well,
he's certainly
you're
trying.
not supposed to be a lot of things in
Well,
this country.
You guys are talking about things that are not worth talking about.
Sure,
because
it is.
He can make all kinds of decisions.
It
The
affects
president-
America,
that he can
and I
make
love
all kinds of
America.
decisions.
I would die for this country, okay?
Okay,
But
he-
Trump is an ass,
But
plain and simple.
He's the president of the United States, and he can make those decisions under constitutional
He's your
law.
president. He's nothing
Yeah,
to
he's
me.
on my constitution. He's my
Okay.
president, and I don't admit. If Hillary was the president, she would be my president because I'm an American.
Well, I'm sure that if
And
Hillary was president, she wouldn't have probably told
I don't know what Hillary
over
would.
10,000 lies in 2
But
years.
she's probably told more than that.
Well, I don't know. But
This is
anyway,
what
back
you
to
do
Michael
when you
Cohen.
this is what you do when you sit in those places.
Back-
You lie.
But you know, this is what they said. It was very interesting. They said this on CNN, and what they said was, you know, that Mueller has Cohen's testimony, so all he had to do was tell a lie, and Mueller would have, you know, because he worked out a deal and he's cooperating. So if he would have got to Congress, this is what I need everybody to think of. If you would have got to Congress and start saying some stuff all off base, Mueller would have pulled, you know how he did for Manafort, and he was just like, oh, you've been lying.
Manafort was another.
But he was
really
lying.
bad.
But he lied to, because he was carrying information that Mueller gave him back to the president.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, when Mueller seen that he was lying, they pulled their agreement and they told him they're not working with him. So if Cohen had a went to Congress and told a lot of lies, Mueller would have pulled and said, listen, you're not cooperating because this is not what you told us. Did you hear anything from Mueller? No, you did not. You know why? Because he has nothing to lose now. This man is getting ready to do 3 years in prison.
He'll enjoy that.
Well, it's going to be federal prison. I mean, you know, it's not the same.
But you know, I don't say that Cohen is not believable. I don't say that. But he has nothing to lose.
Right. He has nothing to lose.
But all of that stuff may have a spin to it, and we need to look for those.
Well,
But
you
it may
know,
be driven by part of this framework sitting at this table,
well,
and what they believe.
well, I'm going
and
to tell
their
you
friends.
this. If I work for somebody and you didn't give me a partner or say you was going to give me a partner and I did your dirt, I'm spilling, as women say, the tea. I'm spilling the tea, the coffee, the juice.
And unfortunately, this is what Americans are thinking right now. But they still support the president.
But he said, I would take a bullet. I want you to just
We're going to
listen
support the president until the last dog is dead.
Well, we can go ahead and raise
That's
your
what they
hand.
said about Nixon, okay?
I like Nixon.
know,
Nixon was my favorite
What do you
president.
do?
I shall not
Tell a lie.
You
Right.
guys wouldn't be sitting at this table had it not been for Nixon.
Yes, we
No,
would.
we wouldn't be in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, back to
Cohen-
I had
Cohen.
another point. One of the things that we have to do, and I think this is what Cohen understands now. He understands his wrong choices cost America something because we didn't get what we thought we were getting. because he knew he was not, and that's what he said the other day. He knew he was not a man of integrity. He knew that he was mean-hearted. He knew that this position was not about getting in here and making America great. It was about making some money. If you listen
No,
to,
God, that
oh
money
yes,
is
it
not
was. They said
money, millions.
If it is, it's only relative. Because
No, it's not, because you're supposed to forfeit, and that's what they were saying. So you can make sure that you're working on the best interest of the country.
Yeah.
You're supposed to forfeit any type of financial ties or anything that will cause for you to have to choose between your finances and America being, the best interest at heart. So he
But
did
I don't
not
think
do
it
that.
was money. I think it
How
was
come
more.
you don't
Now,
think
hang
it's
on.
money?
You
Sure
didn't
it
ask
was.
me what I thought it was.
Okay, what was it? What
I
was
think
it?
it's ego.
Ego?
This man had an ego like God has. And so he doesn't believe that he's subservient or second best to anybody. He has an impeccable ego.
Ego like the
No,
devil.
you know what? That's good. I received that. You know why? Because he talks about himself all the time. Because he'll start talking about something, and all of a sudden he'll say, "I'm the best." He think he know more than the generals. Ain't never served a day in his life, but he know more than people that served in the military. He know more than people that went to college in finance. He know more than everybody. And you're right.
And
That's right.
that doesn't mean he's mean or stupid or anything like that.
Well, no.
But
All
he
three.
has,
Well, let's don't
he
count
has-
all of it out.
He has an ego.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He does. He does.
And presidents need to be vain like that in times that circumstances required.
And he claims he's this businessman, all right, this great businessman,
Yeah.
all right. This man has filed bankruptcy about 20 times.
But he's successful.
That's not being successful.
Well, that's a
Hang on,
question
hang on,
too.
hang
That's
on.
a
That
question
mean- that
too.
mean-
I'm not going to let you sit here and berate people who have made the money.
Well, he may have made the money, but we're going to soon
would make money
find
too.
out.
Yeah, I
We're
would make
soon
money.
gonna
If I
find
were in
out
his position, I'd
when
make the
when the
same kind of money.
Democrats get his tax information. All right, okay.
They're jealous because they haven't made that kind
They're
of
not
money.
jealous. They're not jealous.
Money drives all of these evil aberrations.
It doesn't
that
have
we
to be
have.
evil. It doesn't have to be. It becomes evil when you put it above people. That's
your
when it
country.
becomes evil. That's when it becomes evil, because they were saying that he promised with all the hotels that he would give all that money to charity and show it. Do you know not one dime has went to charity? Then the Saudis came to town.
I never asked him that question.
Oh, okay, well,
Mr.
we
President, what about the money?
You got to turn.
You got to ask him. You don't just make assumptions.
Ask who?
Ask him the next time you see him.
Okay, next time. No, I don't have time. I don't have.
Because you know what he'll
access
say to you?
What?
Sit down.
Yeah, probably. He has a bigger ego than I do. Yeah. But I don't mind people who have this ego and yet can drive some good in the country to protect ourselves, protect the country from ourselves and from the outsiders.
And that's what he's doing.
And what good
that's
is he?
pretty old.
What good is he doing for the country?
He's doing a lot of things.
That this wall,
Well,
that's not going to
Sir,
happen.
you're sitting
All
here
right.
talking on an open forum and saying that you're not benefiting from it.
I'm not.
From
I'm
who?
not. Didn't benefit for
You-
for
from the
this money
system
for
that
this,
has been
for this
established.
tax stuff that he
Yeah,
got.
you guys-
that he gave.
You
to
got
the
some people
1%.
mad at him in tax season.
You know
They
what
not.
I mean?
They,
Yeah.
Okay.
their
People are
refund has
angry.
shrunk. It has shrunk.
Well, that's
Okay.
good.
I got less.
Maybe they're
I
paying
got less
their-
this year than I've ever gotten.
Well, they're
All right?
paying the shares that they are due to pay.
Negative.
stop.
Negative.
And maybe
Yeah.
they were in tax evasion or tax avoidance. And for the first time in their lives, they're standing up and paying the right share.
Do you
Well,
know what
then-
Cohen said about Trump? The reason why he doesn't really want to show us his taxes is because he doesn't pay any and he gets millions back.
That's right. With that, we
I
must
know.
bring the In My Opinion show to a close. But folks, we're going to revisit this. This has been a very enlightening program today. But until next time, this is Ronald Barrington Robinson, along with Jackie Williams and Mr. Henry Hatter, saying, until next time, stay focused.